Hey, man. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the Pickoff Show with Ray and Eric right here on Ray's Juke Joint Sports Channel. So I'm laughing at myself. I'm out of whack again.
Yeah, man, what is the deal with the intro? That's like 2 shows in a row.
Man, I don't fucking. Man, I'm trying, bro. Like I'm all out of whack. It's hot in my house. I haven't cut the AC on. I don't know. My wife is different than me, so I try to make sure she stays as comfortable as long as she can. It's just weird. Anyway, what's up, E? How you doing?
Good, buddy. Good. Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a Thursday night. Not a lot of games going on right now. I'm only worried about what the hell my Miami players are doing in fantasy. Other than that, I'm not even worried about baseball.
It's great timing. Nola was getting rocked by the Red Sox when we jumped on, so I'm like, perfect. I'll just turn this off. Thanks.
No, Nodola was getting rocked. He's our guy.
No, Nola.
Oh, Nola. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he gave up like
he's on
4
your
runs in the second inning or something. Or he's on his way, maybe more. I'm like, I'll turn that off. Thanks.
Yeah, I hadn't even watched baseball since I walked in. But this is our baseball show, and we're just going to get it started. Justice said, what's up, y'all? My team is hitting .089 right now. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that hurts. I feel, and
I hope that's for the day, and I hope it's not for the week. I hope that's for the day.
I hope it's for the day. I hope it's for the day. Like, I mean, it's just been we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's just get into the show. We got a lot going on right now. We got thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody that's here right now. And let's just get into it, Eric. So we had a big debut of a guy we've been talking about. We showed video clips the last couple of weeks for a month. We've been talking to this guy. We talked with him last week. We talked about this young man last week with Daniel Victor, our good buddy Daniel Victor. And we was excited to see him come out and do this. Let's just get it racking off the top.
Numbers in AAA.
And that devastating changeup. First career strikeout. Family loves it. 0-2. And he got him on the sinker. Second strikeout for Thorpe. Good pitch with the cutter upstairs. Third strikeout of the game for Thorpe.
Climbs the ladder with this cutter. Kind of backs up on him, and Rayleigh swings underneath it.
Strike 3 looking. Fourth punch out.
So just a chance to see this young man debut. And if you don't know the numbers, let's just look at it. Drew Thorpe, 1 game, 1.80 ERA, 5.0. What the hell? I don't know. My box been acting crazy. 5.0 with 4 strikeouts, a 1.0 whip. I don't know about debuts, but for me, that's serviceable. That plays. And how you feel about that debut for Drew Thorpe, Eric?
Yeah, obviously we've been excited about it. We said, in our opinion, he's a number 2 pitching prospect behind Noah Schultz. He looked great. The changeup at times, he wasn't even like, I wouldn't say he had his best stuff, but that changeup, a few of those were just like, you could see the guys just looking back, like, what was that? What happened there? Like, you could kind of notice it. It was pretty crazy. So
it's knee locking is what they say.
Yeah. What's that?
You hear me? I said it's like they say it's knee locking. It locked your knees up.
Yeah, you could just tell they were kind of like, whoa. And the cool thing about it was, it's a great start. On the road, straight from AA. I doubt that he knew a whole lot ahead of time it was coming. With all the expectations, your first career deal. I mean, all in all, it's very promising. He's a little bit of for being a right-hander, a little bit more of a throwback pitcher, having 3 or 4 pitches, a little more command than a lot of the younger, not a dominant fastball like you'll see a lot of the young guys now, Jerry Jones, Paul Skeens types that have the big 97, 98. That ain't going to be him. But no, it was great. It was good to see.
Yeah, so Justin said his cutter is underrated. And then and like you said, he's a throwback pitcher. Justin said it reminds of Mike Messina. So
I mean, the fact that he can work, you saw it there. He was working the low side, he was working the high side. Everything was kind of around. Even when stuff was off, it was a competitive pitch. It wasn't like all the way off.
Right.
It was there, and like
And he's in the zone. He's challenging batters. He's unafraid.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
I've seen people say that we
the main piece. I guarantee they weren't leaving Cease in San Diego without him. He was the main piece in that trade, right? So
yeah, and I think some people were saying we got to steal, and I think we did. The young man is just literally a pitcher. I have this thing where like when a guy passes the eye test as a pitcher, I have a guy that I picked up on my fantasy team that just passes the eye test, Jake Irvin. Like he's a pitcher. You know what I'm saying?
That's the day I was yelling at you a little bit. Like I said, I hate how good he's become because I was going to wait a week and grab him. But like you're so snappy on this stuff anymore.
Right. Yeah. So it was just like kind of crazy, like just seeing that young man just command the zone, challenge batters, unafraid. And then Corey Lee calls a game. I don't care what offensively or whatever. Corey Lee calls fucking games. Like literally.
Yeah.
I love that kid behind the plate.
Yeah, and I mean also too, Thorpe's the kind of guy that like you look at him and he's not going to probably dominate stuff. He's not going to get the headlines that like Steen's got. He's not going to get them like when Jones got. But you know what? The first thing I think of when I see him, and I think Mussina was a great comparison, or whatever. But like, I just see a guy that's going to pitch for 10 to 12 years in a Major League Baseball. Because like, even when his fastball goes down or stuff's going to do, he's kind of a pitcher first versus necessarily a hard thrower, which is some of the other guys.
Well, that kind of goes into one of the comments in the comment section. Justin said all of his pitches were competitive. I love that they were. But then Robert says this, because he lacks velocity, Thorpe has no room for error. On days when his control is off, he's going to get hit hard. What do you feel about that, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, velocity is overrated. I mean, we've been through this for years and years and years. Like, there's a reason why Dylan Cease's fastball just gets lit up. It ain't because he don't throw at 99. It just don't move. So there's going to be ways around him being able to, when we don't have his best stuff. I think you just saw him pitch. Even though pitching against Seattle is a great team to pitch against, don't get me wrong, that team's a free-swinging club. But he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to – if you're looking for a guy to go out, like, put up crochet-type numbers, that's not going to be him. But you want to know a lot who he reminded me of with that changeup and spotting the fastball and using different pitches. I mean, the guy was left-handed, but that's how Mark Burley survived for years. Off balance, different stuff, line on that changeup first that they just pretty much couldn't hit. Like, that's what you're looking at that, even though I know different-handed, but same type of
I mean, 10 years
arsenal.
from now, 10 years from now, it'd be like Chris Bassett. It's like he's just going to be just a guy that's going to constantly eat up innings, not get rocked too hard too often. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, he's going to give us some hits. I mean, Robert ain't wrong. If they score up that fastball, it's going. But I got bad news for you. In Major League Baseball, anybody's fastball they scored up is going. Like, there's no doubt about it.
For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, that we shout out to Drew Thorpe on his debut. That was awesome. We enjoyed that. But we got to keep it moving because we got a lot going on in this show right here, Eric. So, earlier in the week, Luis Robert came back. Okay, he came back, and then everything just started going crazy, right? He hit a home run, and then here comes the rumors, right? And you hit me up. You were saying something about we need to stay in the northwest quadrant of the fucking nation when we're doing this trade stuff. And then you send me this, right? So this comes from the MLB executive burner account. White Sox are looking for a Juan Soto package for Luis Robert. Only a few clubs have pieces. Robert, assuming options are exercised on a contract from 2025 to 2027 with 3 years, $55 million. Luis Robert Jr. with one of Cole Young, Cole Emerson, Felnine, Celestin, Carmelo, and a couple arms. But I mean, go ahead. Let's talk about this. You wanted to talk about this. Let's get to it. With Luis Robert, I've seen some insane fucking trade proposals out there. I'm just like, that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I don't see a Juan Soto type return if they do decide to move on from Luis Robert. But what were you thinking when you sent that, and how we've been talking over the last week or so?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before this tweet, right? To your point, but like, Seattle makes all the sense in the world. One, you know, the GM is super aggressive, right? He's made how many trades? Like the guy trades more than Justin in our fantasy league. Like the guy just is making trades like nonstop, like over there. He gets bored, he trades. I think he wakes up and trades his kids in some days.
Yeah.
But like, no, I just think it makes a ton of sense, and I absolutely love their farm. Like their farm system. I mean, you just saw it, right? Either one of Cole Young or Cole Emerson. They got the young kid in A that's on that's on Caleb's team, Montez or whatever his name is. They got some young pitching. They're trying to win now. They're in first place. They need the offense. And what a lot of people don't understand, and you saw it right there. So you got $55 million he's owed in 3 years, and let's just make it easy. He's making $12.5 million. Say he's due another $6 million the rest of this year. Right now, if you're the White Sox, I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can, because anybody that thinks that they're keeping him, they're missing normal general manager principles. You are taking $61 million off of the books, and you're getting $60 million, roughly $55 to $60 million worth of prospect equity. Every game that he plays, every year that he stays, every deal that he's done, it's like driving a car. The value just goes down. It just goes down every single second of every single deal because the controller gets short and short and short and short. And I know some people I've seen, like you said, crazy things built around him. How? The guy's owed $15 million. Say we're spending $150 million in payroll. You're going to pay one guy 10% on a team that's going to win 45 games this year?
We're already doing that. His name is.
We're paying a one. And two is what people don't understand. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get into fantasy because the White Sox suck. But the build that the White Sox did prior to this, there was nothing theoretically wrong with the build. The build was there. What the White Sox did not do is they drove every asset that was worth anything straight into the ground and made no changes. How long have you and I been talking now? 3 years, 4 years? Since COVID, right?
It's been 3 years, yeah. Since the end of.
I almost think it was during COVID, so we might be maybe 3.5 years. I've been screaming for him to trade Cease and Makata since the first time you and I probably ever talked. At one point, Makata had $60 million worth of trade deals. You knew his contract was going from making $6 million to $25 million. I said it, I don't know how many times on the spaces. And what did we do? We just hold on to him. If you knew you were never going to extend TA had all kinds of value a year and a half ago. Look how smart you would have been now. You could have got $50 million worth of assets for TA, and TA is no longer even a major league player at this point.
Yeah, no, he's so far.
They've done nothing. They did nothing to continue to adjust. And I know it hurts, but if you look at good teams, Atlanta Braves, one of my favorite organizations. Freddie Freeman, see ya. Danby Swanson, see ya. Like, they're making the hard decisions because they know you have to turn over, you have to get rid of assets, you have to get new blood, you have to constantly change. And, like, none of that's happened. So for people that want to hold on to Crochet, who, by the way, is probably past his top innings he's ever pitched in his life. He's still new. Who even knows what the end of his deal is? Robert, here, listen to this. 21, he played 68 games. 22, he played 98 games. 23, he did play 145, and he's already missed 53 games this year. Like, he's played over 100 games one time. And you want to pay the man 60-some million and pass on 50 million in assets? Like, it's just that, I mean, He's gone. He's gone. Right. It's just a matter of where.
Right. And I disagree with you on the Crochet deal. I think we keep Crochet. I really do. I think that, like, Crochet is too young in the deal for us to just say, okay, let's just try, because we do have other assets to trade to get pieces, i.e. Luis Robert.
Yeah.
Keeping a Crochet in his second year, we're 2 years out before we even get to ARB. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
I think he's ARB next year, I think, right? So he's got 3.5 years left.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I mean, we're just like, I disagree with the Garrett Crochet, because if you look at it, we got Thorpe. Justin brought up Cannon. I'm sorry, Justin. I would have had some Cannon stuff, but I want to get to Cannon the next time that he starts. I'll get to Cannon.
Yeah. People ain't gonna like it, but Cannon's probably a bullpen pitcher. They ain't gonna like it, but
they're not gonna like it. Well, you just love pissing people off, so that's what it is. And so I don't know. Bull is telling me I'm living in the past, but I just think that we have, these guys that's coming. Iriarte. We definitely got Noah Schultz coming. You know what I'm saying?
So I love where you're going.
Right.
The other key part of this thing, and the reason why Robert and, in my opinion, Crochet, I know we differ there, has got to go, is like, let's talk on the offensive side. Like,
right.
You probably got Cuero, right? Looks great down in Double A.
Yeah, I like Cuero.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wokout looks like he's going to be up and coming.
He hit what I'm thinking about yesterday, so it's just like, goddamn.
You know what I think about Zavala?
Yep.
Even Gonzalez, who looks really good all of a sudden this year, even though people wanted to shoot him after 38 games for some reason last year. But layering, we call it layering, and they call it layering. You have to layer like your prospects, like i.e. Baltimore right now, where like everybody's kind of reaching the majors at like the same time. So like if you can trade Robert for add 2 or 3 more offensive pieces, right, with that Wokow, Cuero, Gonzalez, Zavala era, and all of a sudden you got 5 or 6 guys that are going to be matching Eder, Thorpe, Schultz, and all those guys are kind of going to be ready. They're going to have 6 years young parole. They're not going to have a lot of contract value. You're trying to layer your squad
because we're not.
Like everybody kind of gets at the same team.
We don't want that funnel that's going on in Baltimore. It's just like it's so many guys that are trying to get into the league, and they're just like, "What? Well, you can't come up. There's no spot for you."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we do need hitters and positional players. Shout out to Bull for that one. Yes, we do. And that's what we're talking about. Like, how do we get the value and get the guys that we can have to take these spots that we actually need? Because DeJong is fucking 87 years old. Nicky Lopez is not working out. Whatever happened to Dominic Fletcher, who fucking knows? Colas is back.
Hurt. Yeah, I mean, you don't who you're going to bank on as a positional player. They're so bare there that and there's only so many ways you can acquire talent.
Right.
And what you don't want to do, and we've been over this 100 times, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to acquire talent off the free agent market. You just don't want to. You're paying a high sticker price. You're driving a brand new car off the lot. It's worth less the second it shows up. Like, you want to do a few when you're ready to compete, but you can't depend on that. So, like, you got to turn Crochet, Fetty, for sure. Fetty, you got to turn Robert. You got to turn these guys in, try to layer them in with the young pitching aspects we have, and have this team kind of grow together.
Right. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it. And I think that we're going to see what Chris Guest is truly made of here in the next the trade deadline is July 19th or something like that.
No, it's probably the end of July, I would guess.
End of July?
This is the last day.
Yeah, it's some shit like that. Is it on my birthday? Stop it. It's not. No
it's
way.
Usually July 31st.
It's okay. Well, then if it's on my birthday, I'm pissed because I didn't even realize it.
I bet it's July 31st.
Yeah. Well,
here's the other thing, too. The White Sox, I don't want to, like I said, we're already 10 minutes probably into this part of the segment.
Yeah, we're 20 minutes in, Eric.
Well, I mean, on just this topic in general, but like, they need to be buyers and sellers both. Like, they need to understand not always prospects are going to make it. They're all no prospects. All prospects make it. They need to start predetermining who's not going to make it, and get rid of those guys when they have some value and still have some upside, and get some major league talent, whether it be in the pen, whether it would be, a type deal. Like, I love the Mania for Dominic Fletcher trade. Mania's never going to dominate in baseball.
Not at all.
You just don't. He can't. Don't have control. And he don't have a good fastball. Like, get out of here. I don't care. I know people were butthurt because he was once a higher-ranked prospect in the White Sox organization, but he's not. But you need to flip. You got to constantly be changing, constantly be turning over. So, like, you're right. Getz we're going to see what he's made of. Yeah. And I hope he does some of both. A little buying and a little selling is the ideal way to get this train back on the track faster.
Yeah, it's July 30th. So, I mean, that's when it is. July 30th. It's the day before my birthday. So, anyway, yeah, I keep talking about it. Yeah, July 31st is my birthday. I'll be fucking, how old would I be? Shit, I'm getting old, man. I don't even remember.
48, right?
47.
47? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 47 this year. Anyway, let's get back. We're off the Sox. We love the White Sox, but we hate them because they suck right now. But we have to cover them. That's our brand. That's who we are. That's what we do. So on and so forth. Here's my question, Eric. And this is you're not even ready for this one, but I need your information. I need to understand this. I need to feel it because this one is kind of big and it's coming up. It's a superstar player in the league, right? And I don't know what they're going to do. Hold on 1 second. Let me find it. All right. So, Eric, surprise question, okay?
Yeah.
So, this is the guy. You ready? Here it comes.
I'm ready.
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk this through just a little bit. I don't want to really get too deep into it because we're not Astro fans, but I love Kyle Tucker, King Tuck.
Yeah.
They're in trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
So this is year 2 of arbitration, or year 3.
Well, they just signed him to an extension, right?
Right. So it's right here. It says he signed a 1-year, $12 million contract with the Houston Astros, guaranteed. $12 million for 20.
Yeah, no. So I'm on my phone. They signed him to an 8 or 10-year deal.
Oh, they did. Okay, I didn't. Well, this is all sports.
Yeah, they just recently did it. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. But they extended it. But now there already are rumors that he might be available even with the contract extension. But they recently just signed him.
I just pulled this today off Sports Track. Sports Track sucks then because I didn't see that. I did not see that. I was looking.
They must have fell off because I'm 90% sure. Maybe somebody out there can. I don't know if Justin's looking, but if somebody could search it, but I'm pretty sure he just signed I don't remember the exact terms, but he just signed some kind of contract extension. I'm 95% sure. But I'm on my phone, so I can't search her. But
right, I feel you. But I was looking, I'm just like, Kyle Tucker, come on, man. What are they gonna do with a guy like Tuck? And I wanted to get your thoughts on. So let's just say it's not Tucker, right? You got a superstar who is in arbitration. He's in ARB 3, right?
Yeah.
You sign him to ARB 3 at $12 million as a front office, and you want to keep him. How do you kind of navigate those waters right there? Because it's not like the NFL or the NBA where you got restricted free agents or anything like that, where they can sign a contract and the team gets a chance to fucking, to match it or whatever. How do you navigate that with superstars?
I mean, obviously they would have loved and been smart to sign him 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the value would have been, off the roof if they could have forecasted how he was coming out. If you look at the Braves, the contracts and the early extensions are such a smart way to hold on to players. You go pull up their trade value site and look down what Albies is getting paid and Acuna's getting paid, and some of these guys they've extended for years. It's super smart. But the problem now, when they get that close to free agency, you're almost paying full price. So they have a choice to make because they signed, which I'll never understand. First of all, how they got rid of their GM.
Justin said 5 years, 125 for King Tuck, signed this February.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that. So
okay, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Justin. Yeah. So
thanks, Justin. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what you can do, right? You can do something like that, guarantee them. I hope they give you a little bit of that's a hometown discount, really. To be honest with you, $25 million a year, only getting $5 million. That's kind of a hometown discount.
And he's already he's just not going to cover off the ball this year. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. So where's your team at? And where's your team at financially? And what's going on in the years? Are you ready to compete? Are you not ready to compete? Because think of the trade value they could have got for Tuck if they didn't sign that deal, right? They are getting a Juan Soto type deal, maybe beyond, just because he's got a little bit more control, right, than what Soto got. So, I mean, all depends on how you handle it. You want to sign your superstars as early as possible. If you're in a rebuild mode, you want to trade them before they possibly, like when they had the highest peak value. And you just, if you're rebuilding, it all kind of depends on what your team is there to try to answer your question.
Yeah, I was just I heard it on the broadcast, and that's what made me. I was watching, because during the baseball season, I'm fantasy focused, right? And Kyle Tucker has just been on a fucking tear, and I'm pretty sure I heard it on the broadcast. Like the Astros have a decision to make in the next 2 years, and that's why I pulled up Sports Track. Because I thought Sports Track would be on point. You know what I'm saying?
They usually are. I don't know what's going on there, but I knew he signed. I knew I saw.
Yeah, so I pulled it up, and that's why I wanted to ask the question. So, sorry, viewers, if I'm behind, I'm an old man. Leave me alone. I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone. But at the same time, yeah.
All right, we got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes. We're gonna bury it. But listen, those early contract extensions are gold. Even when the White Sox did it. Tim Anderson's contract was pure gold, paying him $7 or $8 million a year, and he was a 4-WAR, 4-3 all-star player like back-to-back years. That created so much value. The problem is the team held on to him until he's worth nothing and just drove him to the ground. Signing Mikata to the contract was great. There was positive value in there, but you hung around and waited for him to make $25 million to sit on the IL. Signing Eloy to the extension. Early on in his contract, he had value, but you never flipped those guys, and they just held on to him until he went broke. That's where the old regime messed up. Not so much in the build. There were just zero adjustments and zero adding value to what you see now, and this is what you get.
Wow. So, I mean, okay. I just had a question. I wanted to see what you felt about that because I was intrigued. It was something, and I didn't even speak to you about it. I wanted to see what you said about it off rip.
Yeah.
But let's kind of get into some other stuff. You picked up a guy, and I was kind of upset at you. Right, you picked up a fucking guy in fantasy, and so right now we're moving on to our fantasy talk. We're talking strategy. We're talking where we are in the leagues that we're in, so on and so forth, how it's been going, and just fantasy baseball in general. So Eric picked up a guy. I want to say probably like 3 weeks ago, right? And I was just like, this motherfucker he's in front of me, but also I've been keeping up with the moves and stuff, but this guy for you, holy shit, Alec Burleson. Like, I mean, the man has been hitting 298, 6 home runs, 11 RBIs, 500 slug, 824 OPS, and the Cardinals have been benefiting, and they've been moving him around from 2 to 3 to 4 in the lineup in the last fucking 15, 20 games. But talk to me about this young man. What did you see in him, and what was going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than the same thing you and I have, done since you've cut on. You go look at the Savant page. You're looking for, when you're trying to project players going forward, you're looking for certain skill sets. You're looking for what you believe to be the best track records you can see. And everybody has their own things, but there's a reason why some people are more successful at it than others.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why somebody here knew Oscar Colas was going to suck. There's a reason why somebody here knew Colson Montgomery was in trouble. There's a reason why that stuff happens. So it's on the Savant page. Loved him. Loved that I get to multi-position the first base and the outfield. And what a great person to add to the mix, basically a utility player on my squad.
Yeah, I think Alec Burleson has been fucking nails for you, bro. He's been nails.
Don't strike out a lot.
Nope.
Getting hits. He walks occasionally, has the power, plays multiple positions. He's young, like a great guy, just to, watch him continue to develop. When you have a dynasty team, that's what you're looking for.
Justice said Oscar Colas was a layup. Have some shame, Eric. Hey, if you got a question in the comments, just hold it. We're gonna get to the questions at the end. Just give us a little bit to kind of do some peacocking. You know what I'm saying? Give us a little minute. Eric, here's the other thing, right? I got a couple young guys on my team that I picked up, and we're talking strictly Scumbag Baseball Classic League, SBC for short. And we're gonna get to the standings and all that shit and what's been going on lately. But I picked up a couple guys and I drafted a couple guys off the strength of just doing research and doing just trying to understand how to be competitive in fantasy baseball. Because I took my knots last year. I got a couple pumpkin heads last year. I was getting my ass beat. I came in second to last year, and I would have came in last had something else not happened. But anyway, long story short, I learned how to play fantasy baseball, right? And so one guy that intrigued me, and I looked at his page, his Savant page, and I watched him play last year, and I was like, holy shit, this young man is amazing. And then the Rockies fucking signed him to an 8-year contract extension. I was talking about Ezekiel Tovar. So shout out to Kirk Snyder. Kirk, I'm going to be using your page today a couple times. Dynasty Info 411. He put out 4 players this season have at least 80 hits, 10 home runs, 35 runs, 30 RBIs. Look at this list. It's only 4. Shohei.
And there's 3 superstars that, there's no skill in drafting Ohtani, Books, or Witt. That's dummy proof. There's no skill in that. And
I just said, you know what? I love Ezekiel Tovar. I fucking love what he brings to the game. I looked at everything and I projected and I picked Ezekiel Tovar. I forget what round I picked him in. It doesn't even matter. He's on my squad.
It was late.
Yeah. I want to say it had to been it was after the 12th round.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked up Ezekiel Tovar and he's on that list. He's on that list, Eric, with those 3 people.
That's not one category. That's 4 categories. And all 4 of those categories are 4 of the 9 categories we count in our Scumbag League.
In our home league, for sure.
Yeah.
Right? And
all of those count.
Yeah, I'm just peacocking a little bit.
Listen, man, I told you the improvement that you've made is awesome. There's too many people that are still trying to come back last year doing the same thing they did last year. We didn't know anything last year. Right. At least you had the gumption to go out and learn and change.
Yeah, I had to. I wanted to be competitive. I'm too much of a
goddamn
winner.
Sox Nick's going to get last back-to-back years. He's got to leave those guys on Twitter alone and start fixing his fantasy squad.
Yeah, he does. He's on Twitter a little bit too much. He's got to. Shout out to Nick. We love you, Nick. Nephew, you got to fix your fantasy. But he's competitive as fuck. He almost beat me 3-4 weeks ago. It's just his team is not consistent. He doesn't. You know how you say layers. You got to do that in fantasy. I'm sorry.
You have to, and I want to talk about that in a minute. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But I'm gonna lead you to that. Okay, I'm gonna lead you to that. All right, so here we go. Another guy. Shout out to Kirk Snyder again. Only 4 players over the last month have at least 20 RBIs, 300 average, and 900 OPS. Look at the names on there. Your guy.
Yeah,
right?
But there ain't much in drafting Jose Ramirez. He's a superstar, right? You don't take credit for drafting those type of guys. You just had him be in the right spot in the draft.
Elio Ramos. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If y'all want to say I'm fucking dogging it or whatever, because it's my show, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Elliot Ramos for the San Francisco Giants. I picked him up 3 weeks ago. He has been freaking amazing, Eric. Freaking amazing.
And it's not accident. Every player you're picking up, you're sending me the profile in Savant. We're talking about what you saw, what you learned, and why you did it. Yeah. And then you're seeing it play out live and seeing it work. And I asked you, I go, it's addicting, isn't it? And you're like, I'm so addicted. Now that I know how to project what's going to happen in the future with these kids, he's or at least I feel like I have a shot at it. You said, you're so addicted to it. It is. It's addicting.
I wake up. I swear to God, Eric, I'm a fiend for it. I have a very crazy sleep pattern because of the Army or whatever. So I wake up all odd times at night or whatever. First thing I'm doing though, I'm studying. I'm on Savant. I'm watching tape. I'm looking at stuff all freaking night long, trying to get my team better, trying to be a better baseball player, right? So it's just, I mean, a baseball manager. I hate this fucking ball. I'm gonna get rid of this shit. But yeah, so yeah, it was just it's just I've gotten better. You know what I'm saying? I love
There's no doubt about it. You're beating me to guys on the wire that last year I could have picked up at any point. They were just leaving them out there, or whatever. Like, it's a little. I told you it's a little annoying, to be honest.
Yeah, shout out to Sox Nick again. He got me. He picked up David Hamilton today, and that pissed me off because I was waiting. I was going to get his ass next week. But anyway. But shout out to him on that one. Here's my last one, and I'm done peacocking with my.
This was your boy from day one, though.
Oh, Michael. Oh,
yeah,
Michael Garcia. He walked off the Yankees today. That young man walked off the Yankees today. I didn't get the video. I said, fuck, I'm not gonna get the video. But only 3 players this season have at least 70 hits, 40 runs, 5 home runs, 35 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. Look at those names. It's only 3. 2 of them on the same team, and then Shohei Ohtani. Look at that. I just Michael Garcia for me, and you know this from last year. He is a I love that kid. I love him. I love everything he brings to the game of baseball, and it's just I can't speak enough on Michael Garcia. Like, he's just a kid.
What are those 3 guys? 24, 25,
right?
26 years old.
Michael, he just turned 23.
Yeah, you have him on your dynasty team for the next 8 years.
Yeah,
9 years.
Yeah. So I'm off my soapbox now. I just needed to get a little bit. I need to get that out a little bit because I did come in. I was in 9th place last year in a 10-team league. So I sucked. So Eric, let's get back to it. One team out here has truly kind of turned their fortunes, and I've said this to you. I've said this to most people in the spaces and so on and so forth. There's one particular guy, right, that I want to talk about right now, okay, before we move into the other stuff. And I want to show you this. Right around this time, something happened, okay? Right around this time, something happened, okay? The Reds, since May 23rd, right, are 13-5. 13-5, right? Since May 23rd, 13-5. Something happened around. I'm gonna let you go, right? I'm gonna let you go.
You know what happened.
They number 1 in OBP, 2nd in walks, 3rd in runs, 5th in OPS, 7th in WRC. 9 guys with a plus 100 WRC plus. If you don't know what WRC plus is, it's rated runs created. Okay, if you become a stat nerd, you'll get what that means. Okay, but Eric, what happened right around that time?
Yeah, the table setter came back. TJ is back.
TJ is back. Like, he's one of the engines. I've said this since day one with the Reds. From last year. They need both their engines. They have 2 other ones, right? They have 2 other ones.
You're roboting on me. I don't know if it's my end or I don't know if it's the deal.
What's happening? On roboting?
You're roboting a little bit. Me or
I can't even hear.
Might be just me.
But they imagine a 4-engine plane, right? Imagine a 4-engine plane. They have Ellie, Spencer Steer is still there, right? And he's been kind of whatever, right? But they was missing their 2 main engines for the Reds. But when they got one back, this young man right here, TJ Freedom, right? And you picked him up. And matter of fact, no, you didn't pick him up. You traded for him. And he's only had 61 at bats. He's hitting 221. But it's not really about the stats with TJ Freedom. Go ahead. Talk about your guy, Eric.
I mean, I don't know. Was Walks on there? I don't know if Walks was on there.
I don't think Walks was on here. I'm sorry. I don't have Walks.
So, like, I mean, he is one of these guys, when you're trying to complement rosters and you got to realize where you have strengths and where you have bonuses and what you kind of want, like you saw it on there. He's good for 15 to 20 homers. He's good for, 20 stolen bases. He's going to bat leadoff. He's going to score you 80 runs. He's 100% like the guys you were just showing. He's just a stat sheet stuffer. That's what he does. He walks, which counts in our league. And I traded Mac for Mac Mac improved from last year. I'll give him that. But he mix matches teams sometimes. Like Mac tells us the whole entire time that he's trying to be competitive this year, and that's why he's drafting all the old dudes. Then he turns around and trades me, TJ Friedel, for a kid in rookie A-ball, and then he drafts in the minor league players. It's like he's drafted Walker Jenkins. Like, if you're trying to win now, why are you getting rid of a guy like TJ for the future? You know what I mean? TJ
is what, 25?
Yeah, I was super happy to get him. My team was banged up. I had him, Yelich, Trout, and Turner on the IL. Two of them are back. Turner's back next week. And then, Trout will probably be back, probably post All-Star or right at it. But, yeah. No, I mean, listen, you know me. I've said it on the show. We have 9 offensive categories. How many players can touch all 9? How many can get hits, walk, not strike out, get you some stolen bases, hit some home runs, driving a run or two here? Like, who can affect all 9? Like, another bad thing that's going on in our league is you hear people punting on categories. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you not – can you not build a roster that can make you competitive in every single category? What do you mean you're punting? You don't care about hits, or I don't care about stolen bases, or I don't care about this. Like,
this is true.
If I have a chance, I want to do what I did to one of the players in the league. I want to beat him 18-0.
And I agree. I was going to punt 2 categories, and I was like, fuck that. No, because I was gonna punt holds, right?
Yeah.
But then if I punted holds, I lose the chance to get some saves by having some setup men that can get some saves. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like,
and some wins in our category. The fact that we count wins, a lot of times they'll bring that setup guy in when it's a tie game in the 9th, right? Trying to save the closer.
And I got 2 of those last week. So I was like, I'm glad I didn't go that route. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, TJ Friedel for the Reds is an engine, and when they get Matt McClain back, that's the other engine. That's the other engine. Like, Matt McClain is really truly the last year when they made all of that hay, it was Matt McClain and TJ Friedel setting everything up for the rest of the guys. Legit.
Like, you know how you love the Reds right now?
Yeah.
If the White Sox are smart, we're talking the same way about them in 3 or 4 years with the young talent they have. Like, that's what they did. They traded those guys from Cleveland. For some of those dudes, Willie Benson, all those guys came over from the Tribe. Like, we'll see how they do. But yeah, no, I love the Reds. I love TJ. I mean, I'm in first place. I know we don't want to do the spoiler, but I'm getting Trey Turner back next week and Trout come. Like,
that's crazy.
The league isn't half scared when I'm in first place already. Like, and I got 2 potential superstars coming still. Like,
yeah, and on the flip side, I lost a couple guys this week, and I'm not doing too well. You lose Tuck, you lose Yainer Diaz, you lose Kerry Carpenter. It's just like, okay, well, how do I replace that production? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you and I talked about it when I had all 4. When I had TJ, Yelich, Trout, Turner on the IL, and I was playing, I think, Mac and Dre. I was just like,
how do I stay afloat?
I just got to hold on. I just hope I go 9-9 or I go 10-8 or 8-10. Like, I just don't want the dreaded 3-11 week or whatever.
3-15. That would just
I don't want any of that jazz.
Yeah, so, but you know what helps though? When you hold on to a guy that other people across leagues, Yahoo, Fantrax, ESPN, whatever, when you hold on to a guy that is a proven commodity in fantasy, when you hold on to them and they finally catch fire, like your guy, this young man right here. Look at that. Last 15 games, right? 908 OPS, 333, 390, 519, right? 3 home runs, 18 hits, 11 RBI. We're talking about J-Rod. J-Rod.
Yeah, and they don't even have the stolen bases on there, but I bet it's close to 11 or 12 in the same time. I mean, he's been absolutely just a menace on the base pass as well.
Yeah, and then you just got Christian Yelich back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like but people, there were people out here dropping J-Rod or trading him. Like,
yeah,
what?
they're crazy. Like, and
in
that's
a
just
dynasty
a lack of not studying, because like Julio. Well, here, White Sox fan will be able to relate. Julio has a lot of that, what Jose used to have in him. He's traditionally a terrible starter. I mean, just slow. If you look up his deals, like, it takes him 80 games to even start going.
Yeah. So we just, it's just like, I don't give up on certain players, right? You didn't give up on J-Rod. Bless you for that, right?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. And I didn't give up on Corbin Carroll.
No.
Right? All right. So here's Corbin. Last 6 games, 400 batting average, 10 hits. But he's got 2 RBIs now. They didn't count last night. 8 runs, 4 walks, 2 stolen bases. Right. Shout out to Mr. AZ Sports. If you see this, shout out to you. I use your shit off Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And then he stopped Can. Right. Longest active streak plate appearances, 30 plate appearances without Can. Last night he went 3 for 4 or 3 for 5.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit. And then you sent me this. I didn't understand what you were saying until I really looked at it. And I said, oh, I understand why Eric. But Eric, explain why you sent me Corbin Carroll's baseball reference page.
Yeah, I mean, this breaks down, like, it's a short sample size, and you know how I hate him, but people love to use them to argue against you, so sometimes you got to play against them, right?
Yeah.
But, like, this just shows you what he's done in the last 14 days, what he's done in the last 7 days, what he's actually done for the last month. Like, you're looking at over the last 28 days, he's 739 with 333, 250. Like, he's got 10 walks, 21 strikeouts. Like, stars are just going to be stars. It's just a matter of when and how they get there. Like, you just have to be patient and you have to understand. But one thing I want to talk about Julio, I know we're going to get into this a little bit, but like, something else we got to discuss. If you're going to truly become a good fantasy baseball player, if you want to be different in this, you have to have an approach. You have to have a theory coming into the draft. And I think one of the biggest things you learned was you and I doing that draft together on Yahoo. When I'm like, listen, we can't go after these categories. Our team's going to be built around X, Y, and Z. We need these types of players. This is how we're going to affect the league. This is how we're going to stay up in the standings, even though we took over the worst team possible.
Yeah,
we gathered 4 first-round picks and we're in 4th place.
Like, it took us a couple weeks to figure out our strategy for the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when you're going into our draft, let's go to our draft. I know at least one of the persons was watching. When you take a player early, you have to compliment that player. Like, you have to understand what he does well and what he doesn't do well. Like, when I drafted Julio, listen, Julio's probably going to hit 300, okay? But you know what? He's going to strike out a lot. Like, he's just going to. He's a chaser. So then what you turn around and you do is you draft Jose Ramirez right behind him, a guy that does not strike out. Like, you compliment while you're also adding. I got power. I got another possible 30-30 guy. This one strikes out. This one doesn't. Both are going to hit 300. Both are going to score close to 100 runs. Like, I'm complimenting myself within the same deal, because when I put my lineup together, I need to look for the year, not the week, for the year. How many Ks am I going to have? How many stolen bases do I need? How many home runs do I need to win these categories and to get in the deal? And then you go back and you construct your team to fit that.
Right. No, I learned that. I had to learn that. Like, and we didn't even talk about it, but I understood the concept of, okay, this dude K's an awful fucking lot. But when he hits the ball, he has productive outs, or AKA sack flies, and or get somebody over, and so on and so forth. Or he hits the ball over the fucking fence, so on and so forth, right? But if he's going to K a lot, I got to have somebody that doesn't fucking K.
Yeah.
Like, I literally got to have somebody to offset that fault in my team. You know what I'm saying? Or if I got a guy that is a base hit merchant, right?
Yep.
Base hit, just base hits.
Jeff
Okay,
McNeil,
that's cool.
right?
Huh?
Jeff McNeil last year was that guy for me. Didn't strike out, hit around 280, 300.
Right.
It's not necessarily too many people act like they're going through the buffet and be like, oh, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. I'll have some of that. And there's no theory and there's no reason, there's no rhyme to how they're drafting. Like when you're drafting, it's like, all right, I know right now because of where the places fall with my first 4 or 5 guys, I'm a little light in stolen bases, or I'm heavy in strikeouts, or my batting average isn't high enough. That should set up where you're kind of going for the next pick and where you're going for the one after that. And coming in, you should have a theory. What categories are you going to try to dominate? And you shouldn't try to dominate ones that are unpredictable. Like, for example, RBIs. Some guys are going to drive in, but, man, a lot of that's luck. Is a guy in front of you going to get on? Are they going to pitch to you? Like, some of that stuff is luck. Home runs. Home runs are streaky. Guys only going to hitting 30 is a big deal now. You're hitting 30 out of 162 games. Are you really worried about, if that's all he does and he Ks 150 times, I'd much rather have a guy that's going to steal me 15 bags, hit 280, and hit 15 homers. That's a much better fantasy player than a guy that's going to strike out 150 times and hit 30 homers and drive in 100.
Yeah, a guy for me that I'm holding on to because I know I projected him. He did great last year, and now he's starting to finally come on. But he does strike out, right? He does strike out, but he provides power when he does make contact, i.e. Jake Berger, right?
Yeah.
Jake Berger, he just hit a home run just now, right? Or earlier today. Just, while we've been recording, he hit a home run. It's like, I know he's not going to be Kyle Tucker, but he's going to be a guy where I can look at a matchup and say, okay, I'm going to play him versus this pitcher, and then I'm not going to play him versus this pitcher. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily love some of the matchup stuff, but you can do that. But 2 is, do you want to have a team I don't bench guys. I don't do nothing. My team, my stars play, my pitchers pitch. Forget the whole I'm going to guess who's going to have a good outing, who's going to not. For God's sakes, the Marsh kid from Kansas City threw 7 innings of shutout ball and struck out 8 against the Yankees today. Who saw that coming, right? But what it does give you a chance, Ray, is let's say you're dominating some categories. You're behind by home runs on the weekend going into Friday. Friday is probably the first day I start to kind of look maybe.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're down a home run or 2, and you're okay in strikeouts, you're already losing, you just play Jake. And you're hoping that he has one hot game or, hits a couple home runs over the weekend and he can catch you up. Oh, I'm behind him stolen bases? Okay, well, I'm going to insert this guy and not play Jake because I need 1 or 2 bags. When you're playing the head-to-head league, you need to have levers that you can pull on this and this and this. And too many people fall in love with certain players.
And names.
To me, names for sure. Names for sure. Or they want to think, oh, I got the bestest guy to hit. If you don't compliment or help your team, he ain't no good to you. Right.
And that's what I'm saying. There's certain, but you and I, we have a lot in common when we're talking fantasy, right? But I do look at matchups. I'm not going to play Jake Berger and Brian De La Cruz from the Marlins versus,
Zach Wheeler or something, right? You're just
not going to play. Right. But that falls into the other part that we talked about, right? Why do you not have a good group, maybe 3 to 5 guys with multiple position options? How can you run a fantasy team with guys that just have one? They're just an outfielder. They're just a shortstop. They're just a fucking center fielder or whatever. I don't understand how people manage that. I can't manage that. I have to have guys where I can move you from first base to third base. I can move you from the outfield to behind the plate. I can move you from first base to fucking to whatever the fuck, right? I don't understand. You understand that. I learned from you last year. I understood it this year. I wasn't picking people I wasn't picking 12 guys with just one eligibility. And I think a lot of fantasy players make a mistake on grabbing guys with just one eligibility. Like I probably out of all the offensive players on my team, I think I got 14 or 15. I think maybe 7 of my 15 guys have just one thing. It may be less. I have never counted it, but I think it's just that many people just have one eligibility. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, and I think it's super important. And here's the other thing that, like, if you really want to get into it, like you and I are going to, right? Like next year, we're planning on competing.
Yeah, we're going
the biggest
crazy
stage
next
around,
year.
right?
Yeah.
Like we're planning on going to the big stage next year. Like you have to understand, depending on what the rules are in your league, the value of every single player changes, and not enough people get that. I get questions in my inbox. 3 or 4 people every week ask me what I think about this guy, that guy. I don't know who's on your team. I don't know what your categories are. I don't know where you are in the rankings. I don't like, sure, I like the guy, but how does he fit on your squad? What categories are you counting? Like in our scumbag league, some people think some players are very valuable and they're just not. And other people undervalue other players. Like when you're counting 9 offensive categories, if that guy isn't hitting 6 or 7 of them, he's not that valuable. And if he's hurting you in another one, he's even less valuable.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You have to learn, like, certain players mean more in certain leagues than they do in other leagues. Especially head-to-head versus roto is an obvious one. But even like what categories are you counting your head-to-head matter?
Yeah. So let's get right into that, right? Let's get right into that. So let's just look at our roto squad, right? And the reason why we're in 4th place in our roto squad, and we're in 4th place only because we hit a rough patch, Eric. We hit a rough patch with our roto squad, right? And
well, let's
go ahead.
It's a two-sided coin, right?
Yeah.
We asked for the worst team in the league when we started the league. So we took over the team that got dead last year before. That was a keeper league. We kept 10 guys. We drafted a team that could fit well and compete, and we were bouncing around between 2nd and 3rd, couple spot first places. But our team's thin. When you take over the worst place team, and we had traded away a lot of talent to gain first-round picks already. We had trade Schwarber, we had trade Cease, etc.
Yeah, so we're 13 points back off of the leader. Like he's at 85 points, we're at 72.
Yep.
So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up our team, and then kind of just go from there. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me remove that, and then go back over here. So Eric, the whole time when I've been doing this, I should have just been closing it out. You know what I'm saying? And then like we go to our roster. Yeah, we go to our roster. All right, so I go here, and now I can go back to this, right? And then it comes up even better now. Okay, so here's our roster, right? You know, Will Smith, he's just a stud at catcher. He's going to do. Will Smith batted what 2nd or 3rd last year in the Dodgers lineup until they added Ohtani. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now he hits 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, you know, guys like Nathaniel Lowe, right?
Yep.
He's just a steady Eddie type guy, right?
Yep. You can see our theme here. If you play fantasy baseball and you're looking at this, you should be able to see our theme.
Yeah.
Like we're in a keeper league going up against a man who has like Yolando, Witt, Julio, Corbin Carroll. He has like 9 first rounders on the same squad. I'm never beating him in home runs. I'm just not. I don't have a choice.
No, you don't.
So we were going for OBPs, runs, and RBIs. And if you go to, you know, taking a look at some of these guys, and you go back to the standings, and you go into like the points scored, you'll see. I think we're getting like we're in 2nd place in OBP. You know, we're like 2nd or 3rd in runs scored, and the whole deal. You know,
I just wanted to highlight a couple guys that we went back, we went out and got, right? So we went and got Mason Wynn from the Cardinals, and the young man has just come into his own this year. I think he's still batting over 300, right? And he's just an on-base merchant. That's just what he does. He went 2 for 4 today. You know, we went out and we got Josh Smith, right, from the Texans. He just does that. We got TJ Frito back. And then we picked up Tyler Freeman, who is like, he's a super utility guy for Cleveland, but now he's starting to come into his own a little bit too. So,
and I don't know if you've noticed, but they moved him into the 2-hole right in front of J-Ram and Naylor. He kind of took him in his place. Like, his runs are just going to be off the charts, hitting in that spot.
Yeah. So that's kind of the, like you said, our theme was
multi-positions with Josh Smith, multi-positions with Freeman, to
Freeman,
your point.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and then Mason Wynn is just kind of just settling down the middle infield because we had some issues going on at the middle.
The injury bug was bad for a while.
The injury bug was killing us. So we had to make some moves, And then getting TJ Frito back was big time, And then Stephen Kwan went out for a couple of weeks, and then you know how he is. He just stays on base.
Yeah, that guy.
He's just fucking crazy. But so that's how we are with the Yahoo League in our Roto League. Love that league. It's just a different strategy than the Scumbag League,
And it's so challenging. Like, what I hate about that league is like there's only 11 people in it, and they have like, I guess, similar rosters, but even a little shallower than our 12-man league. Yeah. But if you're trying to snipe a guy off the waiver wire,
he's gone already.
He's already gone in the Yahoo League. Those guys have been playing for years, right? Like, that dude's gone. Like, you got to be early.
Yeah. So let's get over here to the Scumbag League. And I just kind of want to highlight a couple things with you on your team. We had a matchup a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of weird. Like, it was like playing the man in the mirror, Yeah. That's really what it felt like. It was like I'm playing the fucking man in the mirror, and it's like just that week I didn't get the production that I needed from my guys, and you got the production that you needed from the guys, right? Mm-hmm. I just a couple guys just did not do what they normally did.
Well, week to week, anything can happen, for God's sake.
Yeah. So let's just kind of look at the standings on our in the Scumbags League real quick. So right now we're looking at you're in first place. Caleb, he's in second. I'm in third, and I'm in third now because last week, before the end of last week, the number 14 was in first place, but I beat the lemon pepper stuffing out of his ass. And so he's in fourth place now. Mac has moved up to fifth, and then Ian had a big win last week and moved up into the sixth spot. And we have this thing in our league where we do the screenshot, and if you're not in the screenshot, you're basically just like, We
don't listen to you, and your baseball opinions don't matter until you get inside of the screenshot.
You got to get into the screenshot. You got to be in the top six. Basically.
We call it the kids table. You got to stay at the kids table. You're not allowed at the adult table until you're inside the screenshot.
Yeah, so you got to be in the screenshot. So we got Justin. He's in seventh. Asanine's in eighth. Dan is making a move. His team is just sneaky. And then Ken is in 10th place. Dre, I don't know what's going on with Dre. He just hasn't really been managing too much. And then
I just figured he's got to be in love. I just figured that's what happened. Either that or the Sears had a clearance sale. I don't know what's going on for there for sure. But something's going on.
But then Nick is pulling up the rear. But Nick is competitive. I don't understand how, because he gave me a fight. The week I played him, he gave me a fight. But I'm just going to leave that there. But then
I'll tell you what's interesting here is like leave that back up if you can for just a second.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull it back up. I'm fine. Go ahead.
So like top 6 teams make the playoffs. Top 2 get buys, right? So it's important for me to try to land 1-2. But you're going to start seeing some separation.
Yeah, we do.
If you look at games back category, right? Like I've almost got a week over the last guy in the playoff spot. Like it's 12.5, deals, 9 games ahead of Matt. And if you look, what I'm really excited about this week, if you look, I don't know if I can beat Caleb or not. We're in a dogfight. But if I can beat Caleb and push him back, you're losing this week. I think Ian passed Duke this week. Nick was putting it on Mac.
Yeah, Nick is putting it on Mac right now.
I know it's still early in the week, but like if everybody there can lose and I can win, like I can really open that gap a little bit. And like
You are going to open that gap a little bit.
Some of these guys are going to be hard pressed to make it. This is halfway through the season. I think this is week 11. I think we go 22.
Well, as of next week, we're basically midpointing because we started to go back to the beginning of the season and play the guys that we played.
Yeah, I think we go 22 weeks, and I think this is week 11. So, like, your team kind of is what it is now. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part. Like,
yeah. So you know, I didn't get a chance to do it, but there is absolutely no chance for Nick and or Dre to make the playoffs. Zero.
Yeah, I asked you to put together a little eulogy. We were going to play the music.
I didn't get a chance to. Because of what happened on Monday.
Send them on their way, but like.
Yeah, but we could pretty much just write off Nick. We can write off Dre, in the Scumbag League for making the playoffs. They're just not going to make it. They're not.
Yeah, and then if you look at me, you, and Caleb, who like anybody was paying attention knew 3 best squads, but like, let's say. Duke, who is what, 4.5 games clear of Mac?
Yeah, he's 4.5 games clear of Mac, yep.
I mean, like, if you're saying the 3 of us are going to make it, you're looking at 4 through 10 are fighting for 3 spots. This is going to be fun coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, literally 4 through 10, like, and I'm not – Dan is going to make a move. I'm sorry. His team is just too good, and he's getting players back. He's getting players back at a fucking alarming rate. And he's going to get healthy and be a fucking challenge, right?
I agree.
Then Asinine's pitching is just whatever, right? And then you got Soto. You know,
I'm nervous a little. I'm nervous a little bit for Nine's team though, but just because here's more fantasy tips. If you're paying attention to your team and you think you're a playoff team, and you think you have a chance in the playoffs, you got to make that decision. If you're on a dynasty, some teams, especially some teams in our league right now, should be tearing down and preparing for next year because it's going to be hard to rebuild in our league when you only have 3 draft picks. That's all you got next year. So, like, but you got to look at guys, and 2 of the main pitchers on Nine's team are going to be on inning control limits, and that's Jared Crochet and Lucas Gill.
Yeah.
They're going to be on inning limits. So, like, you want to get in the playoffs and have a guy that's sitting out and not pitching? You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of look at – pay attention to what's coming up in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so if you look at right now what's going on, I'm losing 10-3-5. Kean is really putting it on me, and it's close. You know what I'm saying? Everything is close.
Yeah,
with us, and our pitching is just like I'm getting lit up, and he just got lit up today. So I'm like, okay, bet. Looking at what he got coming down the pipeline, looking at what I've got coming down the pipeline. So we'll see what happens, how it shakes out. But to your point, Ian is over on Duke right now, 10-5-3, right?
Yeah.
And Duke has a flaw, and I exploited his flaw last week by beating him. I think I beat him 14-4. Something like that. He has a flaw.
Caleb passed me, it looked like. I knew that Noah start was going to hurt me.
Yep,
but he's got me outflanked today for hitting, so we'll see how the weekend goes. But
Caleb got you 10-7-1, right? Mac is still. So this is what I was saying about Nick. Nick is sneaky. His team is sneaky. I hate it. When I played him, I hated every day of the week because he has those guys that are just they're just workhorses, and they get hot. They get hot. They become nuisances. And Mac is experiencing that right now. So it's 12-4-2 with Mac. Justin and Nine are in a dogfight. That's why they are the 7 and 8 team. Yeah, they're in a dogfight. They're in a dogfight. And they're gonna be in a dogfight all week. And then, like I said, Dan, with this win right here, Dan is gonna make a move. And I feel sorry for
you're looking at Ian possibly pushing up to the 5 spot, maybe the 4 spot, depending on how bad he beats Duke. How far is Ian behind Duke?
Ian is 3.5 games behind. 2.5 games behind Duke.
Yeah, so he could pass Duke this week. He could pass Mac this week.
I'm looking at Mac. I'm sorry. So he's 8 games back. 8 games.
Yeah, he'd have to really thump him, but he can get right on his heels. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. The stretch is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then the other choice you got to make, and I guess I'll pose this question to you. Like, And it's probably because everybody talks so much, I think I know the answer. But this 6 seed and a 5 seed in our league probably aren't winning the championship. So, like, are you going to hold on to your squad just to make the playoffs so you get to talk shit the whole entire offseason, at least you made the playoffs? Or are you going to try to tear down and rebuild and actually have a chance to win in 25? Like, that's the choices people need to be thinking about.
Yeah, that's the big question, because as you I'll use my squad as an example, okay? I'll use my squad as an example. Because here's the thing. When you're building a team, and we understood the assignment, you, me, Caleb, and a couple other guys, like, you have to build the team. And this is just my opinion. So if you guys are watching, this is no disrespect. This is just fantasy baseball talk and how to strategize, because I just really took a chance to learn it. You know what I'm saying? When you're building a team and you're doing dynasty, why don't you think about the future every freaking week? Right?
Yeah, I don't know why people are picking up some of the players you're picking up. They're trying to pick up for matchups for the week instead of trying to make your team better for the long haul. And like you and I are stashing up these young guys, they're going to make a difference for the next 10 years in our league. And they're just trading around goddamn Chris Bassett or that Kyle Gibson and like these old vet pitchers trying to like, I've lost categories and I knew I was going to lose because I'm not managing week to week right now. I know I can run my team out as is, make the playoffs. I'm trying to pick up guys that like I think will make me better for the postseason and better going forward.
Exactly, and that's the reason why. So, like I said, I'll just use my squad as an example. If you look at my squad, when I made my selections, even Jake Myers this week to try to take the place of some production from Brendan Rodgers, and it takes the place of production for losing Tuck and Carp and whatever, right? If you look at my team and you kind of see look at the ages.
Yeah.
Right? I have one guy over 30. Right? Literally, one guy over 30. And I'm only saying that because it's like you have to like think about the future. And then when you go to my minor leagues, you know, it's just the minor leagues is just going to be supplementing the guys that's getting older as they get older, right?
And you and I understood this so well, and so many people mismanage the minor leagues. Like, if you knew, and I knew, you knew, Caleb knew, like if you knew coming out of the draft that you had a stud team, you don't want to be drafting guys that are in AAA that are knocking on the pros, because what are you going to do with it?
Right.
Like if you can pull up mine, you'll look at my minor leagues, and it's like A-ball, 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 A-ball.
That's literally
like,
how my team is right now. Like,
right. Like, because I know that I don't have room to be putting this knucklehead that you know is going to struggle. And then these people keep activating. They keep activating these players once they turn pro. Like, what are you doing? You don't have to do that. Leave them in the goddamn minors. They're going to go 0 for 37 like Slap Dick fucking Holiday did. They're going to get sent back down. Like, don't activate them. Like, leave them in the minors.
Yeah, you don't have in a dynasty league, you don't have to bring them up. Like, there is no reason to bring up a guy. Now, I'm going to be super tempted when James Wood gets sent up. I'm going to be so tempted with James Wood. But I did it earlier and I got pissed off because I saw it again. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. With pitchers for Ray, with pitchers, if he passes the eye test as a pitcher, I'm going to love that kid. Christian Scott is a guy. He's a guy. He's a pitcher. And they sent him back down, but that has all to do with control, all to do with contract status, and maybe try to get him rookie of the year next year, some shit. Whatever, right? However, the Mets decided to do that, but I saw a pitcher, and if you can mow down Atlanta and the Yankees back to back, then come on. But anyway, let me pull up your squad and you can talk through it. Here you go, E. So, like, here's what you're talking about with your squad, right?
Like, if you can go to the minor section.
I'm going to your minors right now. There you go.
So Black's almost ready. I traded Dan for him.
Yep.
Matt Shaw's in Double-A, about ready to place Morrell. You guys
Wilkins
can pay
in A.
attention to the show. We said Morrell was going to be a bust. Try to tell you, didn't listen. Brock Wilkin, high A.
Yep.
Will Caldas made it to low A. Leo was the number 1 international prospect. He's in single A. Cole Emerson, who I really want from Seattle in the Luis Weiber trade. I'm trying to wish it into existence. Low A. Lombard Jr., low A. Cooper Pratt from Milwaukee, low A. Tommy Troy's, and I think high A. I picked up Heston because I just couldn't believe he was out there. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'm probably going to cut him next week, or try to trade him then. Savalo's in a high A. So, I knew drafting my team, I was trying to fill it with people that are going to be ready in 3 or 4 years, not right now because I have no spot for them.
Yeah. Oh, man. Nola got lit up, bro.
What did he end up doing? I saw he gave up 4 early.
So he went 3 2/3, 11 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned, 1 home run, 2 walks. Yep.
Yeah. What do? Great matchup against Boston. Sometimes you just lose, right? You just lose.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
I saw when Caleb passed me. I knew he must have got lit up. But this is another point.
Go ahead.
Now go up to my pitching.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get there. Here we go.
Some teams don't have this option. I can now flood the market because I have 8 starting pitchers.
Yep.
I can just flood the starts for the weekend because it don't matter and try to drive that back down with the innings.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, some people aren't keeping versatility. They only have 5 starters. And if somebody goes bad or 6 starters, somebody goes bad, they just got to eat it. I think you just got to think your way through a little bit.
Yeah, because I have literally flooded the market twice this year. Because I got 6 to 7. I got 6 to 7 starters on my team. If I have one bad outing, I say fuck it. I'm about to flood. I'm flooding.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start everybody. At least I'm gonna try to beat you in wins, Ks, and quality starts. No matter what, right? I'm gonna get 3 of the categories down.
And you can have all the rest of the motherfuckers because
we'll go 3 and 6 from that, and I'll try to out hit you, right? That.
Yep. And then most of the time in this league, I think. I'm not even gonna say that. I know I have the 2 best closers in baseball.
Yeah.
Helsey and Clase have just been nails this year. So you know what I mean?
Here's another free tip if people are watching. Start looking. If you're a guy that is in a holes plus saves, or if they're just counting holes separately, or if they're just holding saves, start looking and doing your research and figure out what's going to happen to the trade deadline. Because some of your closers that are closers of teams right now will not be closers. They're going to get moved to holds. And some of you guys that are holds guys are going to get moved to the back of the bullpen for closers for bad teams. So, start really doing your research on who sellers is, who might be moving for closers, who could be moving around. And come the back half of the deal, you might be able to make a run because all of a sudden you scoop up 2 guys that were hold guys that are now save guys. Or some guy that was a save guy might be now a hold guy. Pay attention to some of that stuff when the trade deadline comes because nothing moves more than the bullpen come the trade deadline.
And here's another tip for everybody out there. If you are still holding on to Ryan Presley, Houston Astros reliever, who was the closer last year, he is not happy being a setup guy for Josh Hader. He's just not. And he has not pitched this year like Ryan Presley can pitch. And I think a lot has to do with mentality. Closers are – so here's the thing I've learned about closers over all my time watching baseball. They're freaking eclectic ass fucking – they're drummers. Metal rock band drummers.
Yeah.
They're those guys, right? Your one friend that will do whatever you say, hey, man, let's start a bonfire, and you try to jump over it with gasoline on your nuts. That's a closer. He's going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So Ryan Presley is a name. If you're still holding on to him, hey, that's your choice. But he's going to be there. But he's going to get moved. I promise you he's getting moved.
He's going to get traded. He can get himself into maybe a better spot. For example, I know San Diego's looking for a right-handed pitcher to, he'd be a setup guy, but he just wants out of Houston.
He wants out of Houston. He literally wants to. I can see him ending up in LA with the Dodgers.
Yeah, he can end up in San Diego for sure. I know Baltimore's looking for another pin guy. Like you just
he might end up in New York with the Yanks. Like
100%. Every
like,
competitive team is going to look to add to their bullpen. That's just
sure.
It's going to happen.
And that's what I was just saying. To your point, Ryan Presley is a name that just popped in my head. Like he's going to get moved. He's going to.
Yep. And like Craig Kimbrell will probably good chance not be the closer for Baltimore come the second half, and we'll see how he handles that. But like,
wow, I don't know about that one.
Well, they're going to go after a big time relief pitcher, and if they get one, I'm going to guess he's going to probably hold down the ninth. But I don't see him just going set up guys and pass it to Kimbrell. But maybe.
So a guy like,
I tell you where else Presley should go. And by the way, can we laugh at the Cubs? Can we just do that a little bit?
Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah. Like Hector Neris, I have him right now. Can we
talk about just what a shitty GM the Chicago Cubs have? Last year you decide I want to hold on to all my possible trade assets and see if we can possibly make a playoff run just so we can lose anyway. I don't want to get any young prospects. I don't do nothing else. So he holds on to all of them and they fucking miss the playoffs. Haha, you suck. You're dumb. Then you come back and sign these other contracts like Bellinger. Try to put together this team on like stencils. Guess what? You suck again. And now you have like no bullpen, but Presley should be in Chicago. They should make him the closer of the Cubs.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
if I was the GM of the Cubs, I would be calling Houston like right now.
Yeah, you got Neris and Presley just like Houston had them last year.
Yeah.
Neris is better as a setup man than he is a closer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, every time he comes in, he about blows it. I feel like.
I know, and I just had him. I had him for the wins, and he was getting me wins. I had him for the setup part, but now they're making him closer. He has no value to me. I'm sorry.
Nope.
So I mean, it's just strategy. Like I picked up Hector Neris. It was for the chance for a hold and a chance for a win. Like high leverage. He's a high leverage guy. That's what high leverage pitchers get you, right? They're not closers. High leverage pitchers get you holds and possibly wins because they're gonna come in. Go ahead.
Yeah, and let's say that you're a guy right now that needs saves. Like I'm the kind of that guy. I have one great closer. The guy Suarez from the Padres is great.
Yeah.
I really don't have another closer. But I have stacked 4 or 5 setup guys. And some of them are on bad teams. The Nationals. What if Finnegan gets traded? And all of a sudden, setup guy, Hunter guy becomes like the closer, right?
Harvey becomes a closer, yeah.
Harvey becomes a closer, right? Killebridge in Seattle and St. Louis. What if Presley gets moved? And all of a sudden, he becomes a closer, right? Like, I would suggest if you're kind of holds plus saves, stack, instead of getting like a bad team that's not going to have any opportunities closer, go stack a setup guy and hope that the deadline he gets moved around.
Yep. And that's where it's at. Like literally. That's why I picked up Adolis Chapman. Like he was on the waiver wire. I don't know why. Here.
I don't know
why
either.
Yeah, just come on. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we had just looking at both our teams, right? Our Roto team, we had a plan. And then in the Scumbag League, both of us had a plan. I think we executed our plans perfectly. That's the reason why we're in the top 3. And we've been in the top 3 all fucking year. And I don't think it's going to ever change. Caleb just got up there after winning a couple weeks in a row pretty big. And, not for nothing, he deserves to be up there because he picked well.
I mean, he drafted a good team. I hate how he managed his team after the draft. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I will say I hate it, but I'm not a fan of it. I don't think he's nearly as strong as he was the day he drafted his squad. But, I'm really going to start now that we're halfway through. I'm going to play a little bit more of the matchup stuff because I'm going to be honest. I really want the 1 seed because I don't want to have to try to go between you or Caleb in the 3 matchup. I want you two to have to play each other to come to get me, or whatever in the last one. I don't want to have to try to beat both of you. You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to go a little harder on. Like I let myself get outflanked a couple of times. It cost me some points. Like Mac beat me 1 week by 1 strikeout. Justin beat me 1 week by 1 walk, and I didn't play guys, but I was trying to build my team for the end. But like coming down the stretch here, I might be a little more savvy on trying to rack up the points.
Yeah, I had to learn that too. Like I lost when I lost to Justin, it was about a fucking walk, right? when I lost to you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to, but the whole time I'm still just looking for the end of the year. Like I need
Caleb's got my team outflanked because he don't have much starting pitching, but he's got a ton of bats. So like on a day like a short schedule like today, he can fill a full roster, and I got 6 guys out or 7 guys out. But like I'm not worried about that just yet, but I might be as we get coming down the stretch.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But but I just think that we're just doing good. And I think that like fantasy wise, what's coming is going to be even better. So what Eric and I are going to start working on is our own rankings, is our own way to look at fantasy in a different kind of light than everybody is always looking at certain stuff. We're going to try to just take it just a little step further and come up with our own rankings as far as like players, prospects, and then how you stack your teams. And we're going to start just putting that out there on the Juke Joint page and all that good stuff. And then having shows centric for just fantasy baseball strategy, just straight up fantasy baseball strategy.
100%. Like what are you profiling? How are you profiling? How are you projecting? Like what are you looking for? Like I can tell you right now, like if you're a young pitcher, and to me, if you don't have a 104, 105 fastball, stuff plus, I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a hitter and you're hitting 300, your on-base percentage is 330, I'm not interested. You're going to slump. You don't have any patience. You're just chasing, you're the deal. Like talk about like how you can use the Savant page, how you can use the metrics from the minor league. Not everybody has the StatCast data, and what we look at to project and why we believe it's going to be successful.
Yeah,
and we're going to challenge a lot of the people that have stuff out there. And for one thing, we're for sure going to challenge. And for the love of God, if you are playing fantasy baseball, please do not go to the top 100 prospects on MLB.com. There isn't a bigger joke around, a bigger political agenda around. Like, don't even look at it. Don't even look at it.
It's by far one of the worst rankings I've ever seen.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. I literally could finish off my bottle of, Glimmer Angie in the back, and I could write a better top 100.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, MLB top 100 is just caca.
It's old. It's terrible. It's just bad.
Yep.
It's bad.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Eric and I just wanted to put out a good show today, talk about the White Sox a little bit, really focus on fantasy because we didn't get a chance to do it last week because we had our good friend Daniel on to talk prospects.
Kill some time. The White Sox are about ready to get started.
Yep. So I think that our next show, we're really going to focus on how are we going to rebuild and be competitive in 2025 with the White Sox. I think we're going to take a little time, figure it out, start talking about it, compiling it, and really just put out a good product on how the White Sox can be competitive in 2025. What is it going to look like? Because we got the trade deadline coming up. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
What does it look like? How do we
can we get him to close to 500 on paper in 1 year?
Can we get him close to 500 on paper? That's it.
Yeah.
What does a 500 2025 White Sox team look like?
Yeah, assets you have now. We'll use the trade value site, 150 million salary cap. How are you going to construct a White Sox? What moves are you looking to make to possibly put together a 500 team on paper?
Yep. That's the next one coming. So we may not be here next week or the week after, but definitely going into July, we're going to go right into that because it's not going to be it's going to be a part series. It's going to be a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about everything. We'll probably have John on from Trade Values, have him walk us through some of the stuff.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get some of the future Sox guys on and stuff like that. So it's just part 1, part whatever, up until the trade deadline and see what it looks like. And then see how much we got right, how much we got wrong, and how well we know Chris Getz and how bad we know Chris Getz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys for popping in with us on the Pickoff Show. We appreciate y'all coming in, interacting in the chats and things like that. Thank you guys. And as usual, Eric and I are just going to keep on going. Elise and Julian are going to keep going. Julius, I'm sorry, Julius. Don't forgive me, brother. I messed up your name, but I got mad Julians at the school, so I be messing up names. And then Greg is going to keep doing his thing, and I'm trying to get the other 2 shows off the ground, but it's just going slow. But they're coming. It's just going slow. But we got 2 more shows coming to the Juke Joint, and 2 more personalities coming. So it is what it is. But right now, Eric, any last words?
No, man. It's weekend fantasy baseball, right? Head-to-head league, so makes it fun.
Yep, head-to-head. I got to make some ground up on Ken. Ken is really kicking my butt. But Ken, just know, I got a couple reinforcements coming back, and I don't have my full army, but it's cool. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Losing Cal
storm is the key.
Sucks.
Can you just get up to like 7 or 8 wins so you don't take the bad losses? That's what you have to
I don't
avoid.
need to, but I think I could catch that. So we'll see what happens. And I don't want no bad loss, but if I do, it's gonna be a good game regardless, and we're just gonna keep it going. But Eric, thank you. As always, man, it's always been fun. We built this platform. Me, you, and Elise built this, and you know we're gonna keep on growing it, bro.
It's awesome, man. Looking forward to it. That project's gonna be time consuming, but it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. Yep, it's gonna be fun. So with that, we're gonna cut the lights off in here, y'all. Turn the lights